All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. That's right. And in today's video, guys, I've got a rant style video for today. Just giving you a warning, giving you a heads up. If you don't hear, if you don't want to hear someone complain about a bunch of different random things, this is not the video for you. So, giving you the heads up now. But today's video is definitely going to be more of a rant style video. I'm going to try not to whine and complain too much, but I do want to draw some everyone's attention to a few things that I've noticed. Especially since last night's release. And, you know, I think it's things we've all seen for a while now. But ultimately, it's just, I don't know. It was last night's experience for me was that was the worst pre-release I've ever gone to across any game, whether it be, you know, old games like L5R, whether it be old games like Magic the Gathering, you name it. And those are the two main ones, obviously, that I took part of or took place in years ago. But today, we're going to be talking about the OP06 pre-release, or I'm really going to be ranting about it and giving you guys my 2 cents and tell you about how I did. This is probably not going to be the style of complaining you think. I'm not complaining that I lost or anything like that. I did not win. This isn't that kind of video. I will talk about a few games, though, that were really funny. You know, just some experiences I had that were just comical. And I think you'll see what I mean when we get to them. But no, that's only going to be a very small part of the video. I'm mainly going to be talking about the experience as a whole. Okay, so on the right of the screen here, you can see our little checklist of what we're going through. I've got a little script on the side I'm going to try to stick to as well, and we're just going to go through this. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in, and yeah, let's get into it. So number one is supply and demand issues. This is all going to come down to 1C, but just let's go through them real quick, and we'll talk about C in the end. Okay, waitlist. This idea of waitlists at a pre-release, that is not acceptable. That's just me. Coming from Magic the Gathering, if you show up to a pre-release, you're playing at that pre-release. I think for them to sell out a product at a pre-release for Magic the Gathering, there'd have to be like 500 players or something. I don't know. It would depend on your venue, obviously. Everything depends on the venue. That's common sense. But I could not imagine a Magic the Gathering store running out of spots to fill for like MTG pre-releases. I'm sure it happens, but I mean, we're talking like it would have to be so many people. But in One Piece, at my local game store, like the biggest local game store that is kind of in our area, I would say, or in my area, it is, they had two 16-player pods firing off at once, which 32 players is a solid that's a good outcome. But that's it. Like, there were people trying to get in for a multitude of reasons. The way again, we're going to talk about shortages in a minute, but because the way shortages are, people literally applied to the tournament to take place in a sealed tournament or draft sealed style, limited tournament. They got their box and left because at the store that we were, at the local store I'm talking about, they wouldn't let you buy a box unless you're in the sealed tournament because you're one of the players. Like, the logic makes sense. That does make sense because of the shortage. So some people, not many people, by the way, but some people just got their box and basically left. They shook the person's hand after they got their six packs for the sealed, and they bought their box, and they said, all right, GG, I forfeit the first game, and they moved on with their life. Hey, teach their own, that's fine. But that's unacceptable from, at least from an ethical standpoint, from the shortages. And it's not even the player's fault. It's Bandai, right? It's whoever their producer is of these cards, they're not producing enough cards. So the wait list, I was not a fan of that. Prices. Let me tell you guys what I paid for my box. Okay, right now I didn't check. Last night I believe they were going for $240. I did not check today. I bought mine for $180. That was what I bought it for at the store, at my local gaming store. And again, I'm not blaming them. That's $40 cheaper, or excuse me, I can't even do math. That's like $60 cheaper than online right now. So I respect the fact that they're trying to give us a deal without, bankrupting themselves, or not really, y'all know what I'm trying to say, like without shorting themselves too much. But that has to be fixed. That cannot go. There were some people who didn't want to buy a box because, or straight up, they didn't or could not afford a box because of that. And I feel for them. That is unfortunate. So the prices. I ended up spending $240 pretty much, or $230, because I bought a box for $180, and then I bought into the sealed tournament obviously for $35 or something, $30 or $35, I can't remember. And after taxes and everything, it ended up being like $235. So that's, 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 Next up is product shortages. This is the main thing of it all. This is the main overarching theme of everything I just said above this. The reason there's a wait list, the reason the prices are so high is because there is a massive product shortage. And we're going to go into slides in a second here, guys. Don't worry, you're not just going to stare at this slide the entire time. We're about to go into some pictures talking about it. So recently, let me finish this out. Again, I'm trying to stick to my script so I don't miss anything and so I don't go too far off topic. I like to buy about 3 boxes every new set. Well, last set, I could only get my hands on 2. There was no more I could get. Like, there were no more boxes locally I could buy. But, you know, this go around, I could only get 1. Number 1, I could only afford 1. $180. You buy 2 of those, it's $350. You know what I'm saying? That's just crazy for 2 boxes. Whereas back in, what was it, set 2, 3, 4, and even in set 1, you know, I still, you know, I remember that far back with the prices and everything. Like, it was like $80 to $110 a box. So $300, you're getting 3 boxes. You know, and then add some tax, obviously. But now it's just totally out of control. Like, it's not just unacceptable. It's actually, I would say, borderline out of their control now. Like, something's wrong and something has to change. Something has to be fixed. Because that is causing a tree, like, that's just one branch. You know, there's, like, all these different limbs coming off of it of problems, all coming from the one problem of the shortage. Okay. And people have already complained about prices. We know all about that. That's a common theme. So one thing I can show real quick from the Gamma Expo, from the 2024 Gamma Expo by Bandai Namco, they did have some slides that did not have at the top where you could not share them on social media. At least, again, I got this from Reddit, and, well, excuse me, I got it from my Discord. People on the Discord linked it, you know, and showed everybody. They got it from Reddit. So if you guys want to hang out on the Discord, this is the kind of stuff we see randomly. We get all this cool information you're not supposed to share anywhere else and all that. So definitely hop on there, you know, if you want to hang out with us. There should be a link in the About Me section of my YouTube. If not, just message down in the comment section below. I'll try to get it to you. So these were slides that did not have the warning at the top to not share on social media. They probably still didn't want you to share them on social media, but there is no private information on here. This is just Bandai Namco talking about their card games in general. So not even just One Piece, just Bandai card games, period. They are aware of product shortages. They're aware of a lack of connection between large events and local events. They're aware of a lack of support with the Bandai TCG Plus app and not enough retailer support. So they know, like, you know, whatever we're saying is working. They're aware. I'm sure their numbers show. They're aware they need to do something about it. But what are they going to do? And on this next slide, this one's in the same. This is from the same slideshow. It's the same idea. It's saying they have a commitment to retailers for 2024. Well, we're in 2024, right? Product shortages. They're planning a big restock in 2024. I don't even want to restock at this point. I just want the product that we're out. That's out currently. Like, not even. I mean, yeah, I'll take a restock too. Don't get me wrong. Like, do not misunderstand me. I just want to be able to buy what's current. I can't even buy what's current. Yeah, the game is growing so quickly that they cannot even keep track, or you know what I mean. They can't even keep up with the growing numbers in the game. And they're talking about restocks. I don't even care. I'm sorry. I know some people want restocks more than ever. I don't even care about the restocks. I need to see the new cards. I need more of the new cards. Okay, lack of connection between large events and local events. I'm not really going to go into that. That's for the tournament players. Read that if you want to. Lack of support with Bandai TCG. Again, I don't really care about that stuff as much. Tournaments fire off where I am. I don't see any problems there. It says they'll work to continuously improve it. That's fine. Not enough retailer support. That's where I'm at. Okay, and they're talking about event kits. I could care less about that, or customer support. I want to see more of the actual product. So I do hope they hop on that. Okay, so that's that for the first point, you know, supply and demand. Now let me tell you about my experience. Okay, now for my sealed experience. Lucky versus unlucky, even though it just says like 2A is just unlucky. That's the nature of draft, right? That's the nature of sealed. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. It is what it is. I don't really care about that. But certain things can happen in these events that just leave you scratching your head like, how is this even possible? This looks like a green-yellow constructed Yamato deck in front of you. Nope. This is the player that I played against in round 2 of the sealed. They got 4 Kikanojos, a reject, a Nami, 2 more trigger characters that come into play from that whole Land of Wano theme, and Hiyori, a 2K counter in Hiyori. Guys, I've never had such, and on the flip side, I've never had such an unlucky sealed draft. And I'm not trying to whine. Don't take this the wrong way. We're just kind of talking. I lost fair and square. I've lost many games. And when you lose in sealed, you shouldn't really feel too bad. But I'm going to talk about some things that did feel bad. Let's go. I'm going to go over I only played 2 games and I left. First game I played against the guy that ended up winning the tournament, my buddy Sean. He drafted very well. He had a reject. Actually, I'm just going to go over to this real quick. This is the cards he had. I don't know if he had the Kikanojo. I don't remember or not, but that card doesn't matter to me. I could care less about Kikanojo. These 2 cards on the left here, or the middle and the left, they are absolute bombs in sealed. You guys know I'm a huge advocate for Black Yellow Linlin. And I think Black Yellow Linlin in sealed is incredible. I truly think it is like an A tier or S tier leader in sealed. I'm not saying in standard constructed. But let me tell you what. It might be too little too late, but guys, if you're going to a sealed tournament, do not bring Black Yellow Linlin. I found out the hard way last night. These cards right here on the, like I said, the middle and the left, Arlong and Reject. I thought like, okay, they're not going to get these cards. Like maybe one person will get these cards and I won't have to worry about them. Both players I played against. Oh, by the way, that Kikanojo, this right here, the player that had all these Kikanojos, I was like, I didn't really even mind that so much. But the fact that, the fact that he didn't have an Arlong Min, I at least had a chance. And he was like, no, I got that too. And he goes through his deck and goes, I got one of those too. I was like, wow. I mean, I'm going to talk about the format like at the end of this section 2 here. But the format, where the fact that there are 2 rares in each of the 6 packs, that's too much for a sealed, at least in my personal opinion, because you have rares and secret rares possibly in there, or super rares, excuse me. Well, yeah, and technically potentially secret rares as well. But the point is, you have 2 rares. Well, in sealed, a rare is supposed to be extremely special, and not all of them are meant to be super good in sealed. So you might even bust on 1 or 2 of your rares. Well, in this game, you're getting 12 rares, or the chance at getting 12 rares. So if like 8 are good, like that this player got, and of course this is just pure luck. I don't think the guy was cheating, guys. Please let's not do any accusations. This is a local player. I'm not trying to say they cheated. I think they just got really lucky. Okay, and I could see how that's possible in this game because that's 2, 4, 6. I see 7. I see 7 rares. Well, the other 5 probably weren't that good, and he did have an Arlong, so maybe he just got 8 out of 12 incredible pulls for his rares. Again, I'm not trying to accuse anyone of cheating. This was just pure luck versus what I got. Let me explain to you guys how bad my deck was. I had Raging Blade, something Tiger Raging Blade or whatever it's called, Gravity Tiger Raging Blade. And that card was incredible. I almost won the first game because of that card alone against my buddy Sean, who ended up winning the entire tournament. And I tried to make the best of that game. But then he played Arlong, where the card on the left there. I'll even zoom in on it a little bit for you guys if y'all don't know what it does. I had the game at least even. Like he still might have won, by the way. He still may have won. But I was going to continuously gain 1 life a turn and keep battling for board, and I was going to win the long game. And he played NL, by the way, for his leader, in case anyone's wondering. Guys, I had the game in my grasp, and then he dropped Arlong and shut down my leader attack for the turn. Well, now I can't get through. So I thought, okay, well, yeah, that was all I could do. So I'm at least going to attack here with all my characters. I had a good board. I had like a 7K, a 7K, and an 8K on the board. So it's like, all right, I'm at least going to try to finish him off. He was on an L, so he got the 1 extra life. I think he could have blocked out a 2, because in hand, I think he had 3 2Ks, and 1 was the 0-cost 3K event. So even if he had taken his last life card, he probably could have blocked out for like 9K. In a draft, by the way, in sealed. It was like, okay, hey, sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And Sean's a great player. If I'm going to lose to anyone, I'm fine losing to him. But this other game, he was a good player as well, by the way. I know him as well. But this game, it was just like, the deck this guy's playing is just insane. I can't compete. Like, I've got these cards. So I only pulled 3 2K counters. I only got 3 2K counters, and I got 4 or 5 blockers. That was, like, okay. But this guy, I mean, he was just... This is when I scooped. I still had 2 life left. And I just scooped. Because I had done the math in my head, and I swing in, smash in, all that good stuff. He gets a Kikanojo off his life trigger. And by the way, he had other cards as well on the board. I'm like, well, I can't do that last attack now. Like, I had calculated everything just fine now I can't survive because of that last attack. So I just scooped up. He's like, why did you scoop? It's like, dude, I can't do anything. I can't do anything about that. But anyway, long story short, I don't want to complain about that. Again, those were good games. I'm not complaining in that way. I'm complaining in a balance, in a balanced standpoint. Maybe it is time. I was completely against this at first, having like a standard sealed list, or excuse me, a sealed leader like Monkey D. Luffy, the one in the middle of the screen. Maybe it's time to implement that. I'm not going to lie, like going forward, because certain leaders like, you know, Enel and Yamato, to me, they seem kind of broken and sealed. I don't think they seem broken in constructed. Some people might think otherwise, and that's fine. I respect everyone's opinion on that because I see where they're coming from. But I don't really have as much of an issue with them in constructed as I do in sealed. And that can easily be fixed by having a standard leader they print out, like Monkey D. Luffy. That's just my 2 cents on that. So I kind of went over a few things there. I talked about how unlucky I was, design flaws in the format. That was kind of all-encompassing there. So, you know, just bear in mind that's, you know... And if you guys have any questions, just put it down in the comment section below. So like I said, my first game I played against against Enel as the leader, against the person that ended up winning the tournament. And my second game I played against a Yamato. The amount of pressure that the leader puts on in constructed, or excuse me, in sealed, is a little too much in my opinion, because once they start taking out the blockers, well now that's that, you know. And how many blockers are you going to get in a sealed? And they're hitting for 2 life at a time. It is what it is. But again, I will say this, guys. I had never been so tilted as when this Arlong got dropped on me in a sealed when I'm playing Black Yellow Lin Lin. Absolutely game shattering. I don't get to gain life. I don't get to swing either. You know, that's actually a big deal, right? I don't get to swing with my leader now. So not only do I not get to gain life, but there's no way I'm going to win the game or keep up pressure. So. And reject, by the way, is just so versatile. You can draw a card off the trigger, KO a 5 or less, or make them lose a life. You know, if they're on 1 or less life, or if they're at 1 life. So very powerful. Okay, and one more thing I want to say about the format is in the format, having all of these 4-cost 5K trigger bodies, it's just brutal. It's a little bit too much, in my opinion, for what sealed should be, at least in my mind. And y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. But in my mind, I don't feel like these kind of cards should exist in sealed. Cards that just, I mean, I think a lot of people would argue they shouldn't exist in the game. I know a lot of people have issues with triggers, but man, it sure does feel bad. And like I was saying, if they were to adjust the format using like this leader card, maybe they could have an effect built into the leader card where it's like, you know, you count as having every leader type, but you can't cast trigger characters or something. I'm just kind of like improvising right now. Y'all bear with me. I'm not saying that's what the rules should be. I'm just giving an idea. So, all right. So moving on from there. So now talking about the future of the game, like the overall. Let me scroll down and keep up with my script here. So overall, it was a very disappointment. Like, it was a very big disappointment, and this is why. Because we got to look at all these cool new cards, right? We got to play with all these cool new cards. Well. None of them are new at all, right? Because most of us, myself included, have been playing with these cards for the past 3 months on the sim. And I like that, by the way. I want to play with the new cards. And I know a lot of players, like, in fact, me and Joey just did a podcast about 3 or 4 days ago, I think. Go check that out if you have not already. Joey from Heart Pirates TCG. You know, we did a video, like, literally three or 4 days ago. I can't remember exactly. And, in that video, we talked about, you know, Joey was, you know, messing with me saying, dude, you got to quit, you know, looking towards the future. Just stay in the set we're in. And I just can't, you know, for some people, this matters more. I want to play with new cards. You know what I mean? I want to play with whatever is like cutting edge because I'm trying to figure out the meta. I'm a deck builder at the end of the day. I'm someone who's trying to make new decks. Well, there isn't nothing, this format's figured out. So like this idea of like opening up new cards, I think this is the last slide, yeah. This idea of opening up new cards, I had never been so disappointed. Like I said, this slide right here, worst pre-release I've ever experienced, and it wasn't because I lost. By the way, that was I lose every pre-release except like the few that I win kind of thing. And in this game I've only won 1 pre-release with, and it was with Black Yellow Lin Lin. But it's like that's not an issue. My issue was the way in which it happened, where it's like, why are these cards the way they are, right? You know, especially like I said in the sealed, it really took away from the experience for me. Where it's like, okay, cool. The fun thing about sealed is everyone's starting off with nothing, so you're all playing janky cards and doing this, doing that. Well, no, they're just going to swing in for 2 at a time, or they're going to make it where they can't be KO'd unless you can get through like 3 times in 1 turn from an L's effect. And, you know, so what ends up happening is, okay, well, still, I'll play black, yellow, Lin to compete with that, and I think it'll be skillful, it'll be fun, it'll be a good time. Well, Bandai's going to make sure that doesn't happen, because we'll print a card like Arlong, and the logic, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but the logic on printing Arlong is to stop these cards, right? So that they can't stay aggressive and do double attack like with Yamato. By the time you're dropping Arlong, your second effect is already going to turn on, and it's an activate main. So they're still going to get the effect, and it doesn't shut down an L at all, right? I mean, like, let me read it one more time. It just says they cannot attack. Yeah, trash a card from hand up to one of your opponent's rest of the leaders cannot attack until the end of your next turn. So, okay, sure. You know, your leader will untap, so that way they can't chain Arlongs together. But then, okay, your Yamato can't do double attack. That's fine. But the chances of you having more than 3 life at this point in the game are very slim, especially in a draft. So now your Yamato is still activating main, and your Nell's still doing their thing. But guess what? A leader that is probably considered trash by most players, black, yellow, Lin, this card just destroys that card. Like it's almost like, I know not literally, but think about it. This card is great for destroying leaders that are already not great. Like, think about Zoro. Like, Zoro's a great leader in draft, right? And I know this isn't just meant for draft. Bear with me. Okay, you played this out. Actually, I should say that. This card's not even really used outside of sealed, right? Like, this is not a super popular card in Constructed. So it ends up just being an absolute nail in the coffin for certain leaders. Like, don't try to be fancy and do something cool with Arlong. Don't try to have fun with Arlong, because this Arlong, the character, I'm talking about green, yellow leader Arlong, by the way, but this green Arlong character will just shut your whole leader down. Shuts down his effect, shuts down everything. Meanwhile, the leaders that are absolutely what a lot of people would consider like S tier or overpowered or something, they are still running amok and it doesn't affect them at all. It's just crazy. Like I was about to say with Zoro. Zoro, you attach one Dawn, okay, your leader can't swing? Well, that's all right. My whole field's still powerful. It just, I don't know, it killed me. This playing in this kind of format really, really hurt my vision of how One Piece TCG would be in the future for Sealed. So, like I said, guys, I'm sorry. Today was more of a rant video. I had to get this off my chest. I want to know what y'all think about it. And I have to stress, do not misunderstand me or take things the wrong way. I'm not saying how bad this pre-release was, how bad the experience was, because I lost. No, that had nothing to do with it. It's the fact that certain design principles are starting to rear. They're starting to like show, like, okay, we left some loose ends here and there that we need to fix up. Like Sealed, I'm starting to think that certain leaders, I don't want to say certain leaders should be banned. I think all leaders should be banned, and maybe force a sealed leader, and maybe make 3 different sealed leaders. Make one that can do all the different types, so they have special utility. Make one that is a little more aggressive, and make one that is a little more defensive, or something like that. Because another thing that is interesting in this game, and man, it's been years since I played Magic the Gathering, but in Sealed, you still had to have correct mana, right, in Magic the Gathering. So in Magic the Gathering, say I was playing a bunch of red cards and blue cards, well, I still had to have red mana and blue mana for the deck, because I need those to play my effects. In One Piece, you can just play whatever you want to. So, like, maybe that would be a thing, right? Maybe that'd be a way to balance it, is you can only play cards that match that leader, but I don't know how they balance that. Again, maybe they'd have to go down to like a 30-card deck or something at that point. I don't know. I'm not trying to solve the problem for them. I'm just saying that something does need to be done. Some type of issue. Like, this is an issue that I think needs to be addressed in the future. Certain leaders are getting so powerful that certain cards are having to be printed to hamper them that don't even end up hampering them as much as they do other leaders from players like myself who are just trying to get creative and try new things out. So, all right. I think I'm done with my rant, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Did y'all have a similar experience? How was y'all's OP06 pre-release experience? I hope y'all had a good experience, by the way, because y'all know I'm not trying to just rag on this game. I want this game to keep doing better and better and better, because I enjoy this game. If I didn't like it, just so like we're 100% transparent here, if I didn't like this game, y'all would start noticing other games on this channel. Just know that. I play Flesh and Blood. I'm starting to get into Grand Archive. I play One Piece. I used to play Magic. I'm always looking to get into new games, or even old games like Hearthstone. Like, if I didn't want to see this game do well, I wouldn't be posting on it anymore. Does that make sense? So please don't misunderstand me. This isn't just meant to be like a black pill. Isn't that what they call it? Like, where we're just getting nothing but negative information. This isn't meant to be like that. I'm just trying to bring some attention to this, and I want to know what you guys think about it. and maybe where they can go from here. All right, I'm done. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace.